Yay! Okay, I'm so excited. I'm gonna call Anna in 1 second. This is gonna be so amazing. Back into doing on. Oh, I'm on, Anna. I'm inviting. Anyway, I'm so excited to get back to doing Goddess Lives. I'm just waiting for Anna to come in here. Hang on. Okay, sorry everybody. Hang on. Hey, Macaulay. Yay! Okay. All right. This is always the awkward moment where you're like, where's the other person? But she is so amazing. She's a cosmic priestess, and I can't wait to share with you all of her knowledge. She's going to talk about what she's doing. She just did like a sweat lodge, and she's going to talk about safety. And oh, Anna, I can't see you. Hi. All right, what's going on? Accept. Here she comes. All right. Okay, Anna, I'm accepting you. You are accepted. And why won't it work?
Hello,
Oh,
hello.
yay!
Oh my God. Yay.
I'm like, why is this
so
happening?
excited. I was like, I'm here.
I know, I'm like, well,
You're
yay,
like,
welcome. I'm so good.
hello.
How are you?
Yeah, really good. Really excited to be here and to have this conversation together.
Me
Like, I'm
too.
so honored to be here.
Me too. So let's get started. There's already people hanging out. So tell us, I was going to try to introduce you, but I think that you do so many beautiful and amazing priestess goddess, things, and you're just such a powerhouse of a woman. And I would love for you to introduce to us, like, what your story is, what you do, and how you help people. Oh no, connections. We're getting, I don't know if it's my video or your video. Oh no. Okay, so she's gonna come back. I know it. So Anna, okay, let me add her again. Hold on. Thank you, everybody. Hang tight.
Hello. Okay, I'm back. Oh my God. I don't know what's happening. It just kind of closed the whole thing, and I was like, oh my God. So I'm here.
I think
So
we're breaking the internet here.
I think so. I think it must be because we are gearing up to like an awesome conversation together. I know it for sure. So
Yes.
yeah, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me and for your beautiful love. And I cannot wait to dive into this conversation together.
Me too. So I was saying before we lost you, like, tell us what you do and your background and all of the ways that you help women, because I think you're just such an amazing person and I love what you do and it's so important. So tell us all about it.
Thank you. First of all, my name is Gasol. I'm originally from close to Barcelona, and I'm actually a sacred feminine mentor, but I have like a whole different background. Like actually a former academic. I'm a molecular biologist, so I come from this scientific background. And what I do is really like I'm here to empower women to connect back to the truth within themselves, to come back into their bodies, to come back into their sensuality, their sex, to see their sex as sacred, and to really become the embodiment of the goddess, really being a clear channel for, the essence of the divine feminine and divine masculine that wants to move through us, right? So this is a little bit of what I do, and I bring a lot on cosmic teachings. I bring a lot of astral travel, metaphysics, and like a lot of the things that I love, and I like to bridge the microcosmos and the microcosmos, and really coming back to our bodies. And I also teach business in the way like of respecting the womb, right? Like it's all stemming from that sense of self, our connection to our womb, our connection to our worthiness, to our pleasure, to our truth, to our fuck yes, fuck no. So this is what I do.
Oh my gosh, that is like so powerful. So give me an example for people who have maybe not dabbled in that, like, or like where is the best place to start? I mean, is it really calling and doing womb work? Because I think that that's something that most of us that have never done that before, like, really need to do it.
Oh my
Right?
God. Like I couldn't agree more. And you know why? It's because I always give this analogy, but when you go to the gym and you're not used to going to the gym, and then you go often and regularly and you work out and you start to feel your body transform and start to feel your body like, whoa, a new sense of like power, a new sense of strength that comes from you just committing to going to the gym maybe twice a week, maybe once a week, or however it is, you see a shift within you, right? So the same is when we work on the pelvic floor muscles and when we work on our yonis, our vagina walls, and really start to strengthen those muscles, because for so long we have been mentally disconnected from that space. And this is the space of the portal. This is like the temple space. This is our intuition. These are like life force energy. This is the space where we are able to download a whole new soul into the planet, right? So I feel like you don't really know how disconnected you are until you start going to the gym, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh wow, right? It's like,
Yeah.
I needed this. Oh my goodness, I didn't know I could experience this much pressure. I didn't know that would give me so much confidence. I didn't know that this helped me speak my truth and my desires in the bedroom, but also in my business, in my family, right? In all areas of my life. So this is how I really believe that, in our society, that we reclaim our power as goddesses, as the embodiment of the goddess, as women, however it resonates for you, right? Like it's your own unique essence and expression, but it's stemming from that essence of self-love. So for anyone that has never done this, I would encourage you, right? Like to start first tracking your cycle. I feel like this is number one. I feel a lot of women I see sometimes that they want to go straight into like pleasure and okay, like let's get juice in the bedroom. And I love that by all means. But if we don't love our menstruation, it's like the first step, because this is what makes us women, and we navigate through the seasons of our womb. And I wonder what do you think about that? I would love to hear. Yeah.
Oh, I completely agree. And that's one of my favorite things to do with my clients is to one, get their, because a lot of times my clients have disrupted hormonal cycles and disrupted, you know, menstrual cycles, and or they don't feel connected, or they feel like it's painful and it's scary and it's a burden, instead of, no, this is like being connected to your cycle is your power, and you're supposed to go through seasons. Like, we are on a 28-day cycle. We are not on a 24-hour cycle. So it's really important that we utilize the energy and the function and be really connected to the season of our cycle for the bigger seasons of our goddess, like our lifetime cycles. Like that's the piece, right? That we have to like really empower. And so I love what you're saying. And I think that's really important, because that's what I do like with my clients that have hormonal disruption. It's like, okay, how can we get that in balance? And then how can you learn to harness the power of each phase of your cycle on an energetic, mental, and physical level? And then from there, like, I mean, I think it's so interesting, because I don't, to like maybe pass, like once they get regulated, then it's like, okay, now what? And I love what you're saying about connecting to the womb energy, because about like your voice, because I never put that together until, honestly, like we're in several groups together, and like learning that from you and hearing you say that, I was like, oh my gosh, like our intuition is not just our gut and our brain, our third eye, right? It's also the intuition of feeling open to receive. And when I heard you saying that, it just really really connected within me. So I'd love for you to speak on that more.
Oh my God, I love that. And thank you for bringing back to that, because it has actually something to do with anatomy. So
Mm-hmm.
it's actually in the biology of development. There's like, the group of cells that are starting to differentiate from, like, the egg has been fertilized, and then, the cells are developing. And then there is this blastula, which is called, that then it creates different kinds of cells, and it goes into the differentiation process, right, of really finding out in what role these cells have to do in this new body that is being formed from this like soup of cells. And what happens is that there is like an imagination, like an entrance that happens, and a channel is created within the middle. And this channel is the cells that are going to be forming the biology of, you know, the track of the digestive system, all the way from the mouth, all the way from to the anus. So this is like the vertical line that these cells are stemming from the same. And this area of the throat, if you check the anatomy, it's exactly the same anatomy wise than the womb space. Like the larynx is like the vagina canal. And here we have like the glands, which is what, you know, like it's just like the ovaries, really. So
Wow.
this is like a portal, literally. We have, and we know it, right? If we talk about like, you know, speaking things into existence, right? Like the law of vibration, the abracadabra of the esoteric teachings, which is like, okay, whatever you say, you're gonna manifest. And that's why it's so connected to this manifestation process, also in our womb space. So whenever we start to release the stored emotions from our wombs, because, okay, what tends to happen is that every time we say yes to something we want to say no, the womb disconnects. It's like a cut is cord, like the nervous system. And I would love to know a little bit your opinion on the nervous system and this connection, because I know that you have a lot of insight in the gut and nervous system regulation and all of that. But basically how I see it, right, is that every time that we do something that we don't want to do, it's like our pleasure is cut off, right? So because we are self-sacrificing. And then every time that we allow for someone to go inside of us when we are not yet ready, we feel like we're disconnected, right? And there is every time that we start to have this armor of emotions in the connective tissue of our yonis. And the magic of this is that when you start to do this work regularly, like I was saying, going to the gym, doing a yoni egg practice, doing yoni steaming, doing crystal wand de-armoring, right? When you start to work on that, you start to feel that the numbness disappears, and you start to feel that your nervous system gets that connection into the womb, and you start to feel this life force energy moving through you, and you start to feel alive, and you start to feel juicy, and it starts to feel great. And anything that it is not in alignment with that truth, meaning it's not a fact, yes, then you're going to be able to say, no, that's not in alignment, thank you so much, through the filter of your heart, right? Saying, no, thank you. Because now your voice is unlocked, because you know what your pleasure is. And this is, I feel like, the missing link. And I would love to know, yeah, if you'd like to share a little bit on the nervous system regulation that comes with that, if you have any.
Yeah. Well, yes. I mean, I think everything you're saying is like I had no idea. I mean, I knew like the biology, but I had no idea like when you were talking about the larynx and the like what? Like it's so wild. Yeah, I see that in a lot of different ways about using your voice. But again, like, you know, I love that you're teaching that it's connected to the womb, because I didn't know that part, but like definitely using your voice and saying no. I mean, it's like this triad of like where I help people on the energetic, mental, physical, because it's all about stress resiliency with the nervous system, right? I mean, everything comes down to stress, and what stresses us out the most is feeling like we can't stand up for ourselves and stand, whether it's at work, with a partner, with our family, with our friends. I mean, if you really think about like one of the most like powerful stressors on us is not using our voice, not feeling like we have our thoughts formulated to even know what we want, and then not being able to say it. It's like that witch wound, right? Like really it's that generational emotional energetic layers of compounding on us that we can't stand for who we don't know who we are, and we can't stand for who we are. And that stress impacts our nervous system, which impacts our vagus nerve, our gut brain hormone connection. And then now it's like also, yeah, and of course it's tied into these, like I think of like there's something that's called the calcium shell. Like when I do mineral testing, and calcium, like all the minerals have a very they have a personality, like they have an emotional component, and one of them is calcium. And with calcium, it like basically creates the shell to protect us so the other minerals can't like penetrate. And so that's kind of how I think about what you're talking about with the womb. It's just like all of these things of not being able to stand up and use our voice or stand for our mission or whatever, it just starts to put this protective layer, and we have to start to, bust it open with all of these practices, or we'll never be able to like fully be healthy, right?
You've touched on an amazing point, and it's like this connection into like, protection, right? And nervous system regulation, exactly as you're saying, this energy of we need to protect ourselves because we haven't felt safe to be seen also in our sensuality, in our sexuality. Either you are a nun if you are not sexual, or you are a slut, right? Like there is this duality that comes, right? It's never, we are never really open to feel safe, in our own radiance, in our own expression. And I feel like being born in this society, of course, we all have this kind of like protective mechanism that you're talking about. And I love the analogy with the calcium, because truly the calcium, it's like this, protection. And it reminded me of the calcium in the third eye, right? And it's just like the calcification process, it's a little bit like that. It's like, you're putting on an armor, and the same happens in the tissues in our yonis, and we don't know, because the side effects of that, or the consequences, is that we don't know what we like. We are a little bit more apathetic. We are indecisive, right? And we see a lot in our society, a lot of women like, yeah, I'm not going to take too much space. I don't want to, be so loud. Women that don't want to bother anyone, that they have people pleasing tendencies. And oh my God, I'm a former like people pleaser, still having tendencies come up, right? And it's like, can I own it? Can I really be in the energy of my embodiment, not for anyone else, but for myself? And it comes back to this safety, right? Nervous system regulation. And I loved what you shared about the vagus nerve, because the vagus nerve is connected all the way in the cervix. So the cervix, so quick anatomy, feminine anatomy, quick chat. So we have the entrance, right? And then there is the vagina, and then there is the cervix that has the passage that gives space to the uterus, which is where the sperm will go, the egg is fertilized, and a new life is born. And then we have the ovaries over there, right? So in that space between the black hole, quote unquote, the uterus, which is like this kind of like dark space where it's fertile and it's just like the void, right? And then we have the cervix, that it is the passage that gives us, and it opens us. And when we are bleeding, for instance, the cervix opens up to release the blood. And the cervix in Chinese reflexology is connected to the meridian of the heart and the pineal gland and pituitary gland. And that's why when we're bleeding, we're more psychic, because that pathway gets activated. And not only that pathway, but also the vagus nerve goes all the way from the brain down, passing through, as you will know, right? Like passing through the digestive system, also passing through the throat. So also when we are making the vagus nerve vibrate, we are triggering and telling our body that we are safe, because it's connected to the pleasure pathways, reward pathways, right? It's the safety kind of like activation, right? And it comes back to bringing the body from that fight or flight back into this, parasympathetic, rest and digest. You're safe, you're loved. And especially when it comes to sexuality. And that's why it's so important, for instance, self-touch and touching gently and loving this area, right, of self-touch, and touching your body so lovingly, touching your yoni so lovingly as well, right? And it's like, how can we go from the distorted sexuality of porn, for instance, that it is like da, 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 da. It's like completely detached to something that, and we forget to do it with ourselves, even when we do our own self-pleasure. Are you going straight to the point and quick, done? Or are you taking the time, an hour, and then you treat yourself like the goddess, and you love yourself up, and you caress yourself, and really you become the embodiment of the goddess. And I find that this is the key on the nervous system regulation piece.
Yes.
I'm so happy that it's benefiting beauties, Selena and Colin and everyone.
No,
yeah, I went full like, oh my God, like I'm activated just chatting with you. It's so much fun. Like I love that we're bringing all of the sciencey beats to this. Oh my God, I'm loving it.
I know. And
yeah, I want to know what you think. Yeah. And
well,
also, if you're watching this, what are your thoughts?
Well, that's one of the things I love about you, and I'd love for you to talk about that more, is like your background of you were a chemist, right? Is that right? You're a
Yeah,
chemist?
so I officially studied biotechnology, so it's like
Oh,
molecular biology
oh,
engineering. And I
yes.
did my master's in oncology, so it's cancer biology. So I was studying the development of cancer in brain cells and also in other different types of cells. And yeah, that was a little bit of what I was doing
So
in a
smart.
past life. In a past life, I was
I
really geeky. Okay, if you want me to tell you more, I was really geeky about the signaling pathways, the cascade of signaling between the cells, how the cells would receive the information from outside and how they would translate into a shift. And you know, now that I
yeah.
also do a lot of astrology, I see that there's such a resemblance between the cells and the stars. And yeah.
Right? And that's one of the things that I really have been geeking out on too, is just like the DNA, like DNA specifically, like combined with like, sacred geometry, and how wild it is that our DNA is not just like what you think of, like I did a post about it today, but eye color, hair color. Like there's actually like this energetic and emotional layered DNA component, and like obviously there's epigenetics, and we can change and alter all kinds of things. Like 90% of our DNA is alterable. Like it moves, it jumps. It's like it's this energy, right? It's like every single cell has its own energy, and what we do and what we think and what we feel, how we use our yonis, how we use our voice, how we adapt to stress changes this energy from jumping to migrating to frequency. I mean, it's wild. And like we sit here and think like, oh, whatever, I am my genetics, I can't change anything. It's like actually that's like 7% of you. It's nothing. Like nothing, like it's wild. And I love that background. I would love for you to obviously we can keep going on this, but I also want you to tell us a little bit about you wanted to talk about safety. You've mentioned feeling safe, and like safety and with the womb and sexual energy and all of the things that you kind of are really in doing right now.
Thank you so much for bringing this conversation into this direction, because talking about DNA, it's fascinating. This is something that I do believe, like there's a lot of like studies on this. Like for instance, if you like to learn more, there is the book Biology of Belief by Bruce Lipton.
Oh,
And it talks about yeah, it talks about I haven't fully read it really, to be honest, but I know that there's so much magic in there, and it's definitely, I need to for sure go into a deep study of that. But basically, it is the thought that, well, we are a spark of God, goddess, right? So we are that creator energy, and with our thoughts and whatever we are experiencing in our subconscious, we create our reality. So with this energy, we are influencing our DNA, and we're influencing what we're capable of. And this is something I also bring, and it's fairly cosmic. I do a lot of astral travel. And the reason why also I like to bring astral travel is because we're reconnecting to the strands of DNA that were unplugged for many, many years. And I do believe a lot on the cosmic DNA activation that we're going through collectively as a collective, and how all of this is helping us to really be the embodiment of our higher self, and to really, download the ability to also even like, living how many years it's the normal years to live. I do believe we get to transcend that, because we get to believe that we are young, that we are healthy, that we are sovereign. Therefore, not because you are 80 you're gonna feel like you're dying, because it's all a mind game, right? So I do believe that that will have an impact in the whole like biology of the body. And also when we're talking about sexuality and safety, I just want to say that, to me, this should be like the number one priority in the life of all women, because this is what we have been prevented for so long. And the witch hunt. And what was the witch hunt? It was women connected to their wombs, nature, connected to the cycles, connected to the medicine, right? And it's really coming back to the wisdom of our sexuality as something that we get to own with love, and we really find this relationship to feel safe to be seen in our sensuality and not make it mean anything wrong about us, or we are perverted or this or that, but we get to really work on the patriarchal constructs and programs that we all have running inside of us, right? But we get to alchemize them ourselves in our own unique initiation by saying that, you know, we don't no longer feel guilty for taking time off when we're bleeding. We see our pleasure as something that it is sacred, and we create ceremony around it, meaning that you create an hour a week where you create a space like a goddess. You bring some flowers, you bring some essences, and you treat yourself. And you are cupping your yoni, you feel into your yoni, you ask for permission to your yoni, right? And we really start to have this deep reverence and this deep conversation. And this is where we find safety to really then speak our needs also in the bedroom with a partner. If we are with a partner, we can then speak, hey, I don't like to go this fast. Can we take more time in this? And then you don't do it out of resentment, which I know that I have done that. I would be like, he doesn't know how to do that. It's like, oh my God. And it's like, okay, are you going and doing that for yourself alone? Because if you aren't, how are you in coherence, right? If you don't give yourself that tenderness, for instance, I would always complain that the partner I would be with or the man I was exchanging with, it would be like, he's going too fast, too quick. And the thing is like, yeah, you in the bedroom, you're the initiatress, and you are the one that says like, okay, slow down. But if you are not used to take it slow with yourself, you're also going to see that mirrored in your partnership. So that's why I believe that having a pleasure practice can be like a revolution for all women, and not only a pleasure practice, but a deep devotion and connection to strengthening the yoni and getting really strong and solid with that, because that will have a ripple effect through your voice and through anything, right? So yeah, that's
Yeah.
on what I wanted to share of that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And I wanted to add, since we were talking about nervous system, I wanted to add to that one of the things like that changed my, well, first of all, biology, I believe, changed my life. It changed my practice. That's when I completely decided that I am not going to just be a gut health, microbiome, hormone, brain specialist. I was like, I need to bring in the energy like stat. So now it's a triad. It was like that just like opened my mind. And then through that, like one of the things you're saying about, the witch wound, like that is something I'm actually starting with like all of my clients going forward now, because actually somebody, she might still be on this call, but I do a custom mindset reset, like yoga nidra add-on with my clients, because it's so important, because a lot of them come and they don't realize that part of their nervous system and part of their health breakdown is the root of it is self-love, self-trust, self-worth, and like that self-respect. Because you can't, you get to a point where it's really difficult. You can't just fix the gut if you have self-worth roots issues, energetic issues, because when you do, it's going to come back. Right. And so like, that's kind of the starting point. And I wrote this really awesome, powerful, I actually wrote it for I do a new moon crew about Goddess Bridget. And I do this whole activation of going back to Goddess Bridget, like the alchemist, the goddess of alchemy. And like, you go there and you go with her, and she has all of these other powerful women and sages and witches, and like basically together, like you activate, and then we go through the yoga nidra and activate every chakra, but like really spend time in like activating your voice, activating your truth, and connecting to your self-worth and your self-trust and your self-love. Because when you do that, then you actually can open up the power, like you said, to connect with your goddess, but open up the power to like regulate your nervous system, or when you're talking about being with your partner, to actually feel, to have the self-respect for yourself, to have boundaries, to have a voice to communicate, and I think a lot of times, even people, when you're talking about like, we need to slow down and touch and do all those things, but if you don't have that self-love, self-worth, self-respect, how do you even know how to do that with yourself? And so these practices that you're teaching, I think, are so powerful, and so amazing to like give people a place to like, to just open up, receive, and start to like dissolve that, right?
Wow. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for saying that. You know, I feel that um, just having like a framework, right, of really knowing how to start, how to, I receive a lot of women like, yeah, okay, right, like what is it? And I love that you are also providing this kind of like safety. I feel like this part, really important part of trauma information as well, especially when we're talking about things related to sexuality or even like, you know, digestive system. Everything is stemming from how are you feeling? Is your nervous system okay? Are you on edge, right? Are you on like the survival mode? Because this will have, as you say and as you well teach, an effect on your hormones, the cortisol, stress hormones. Everything is like, you know, like not in alignment, and therefore, like, you know, also this state of fight or flight will make you feel disconnected from the body, because it's not going to feel safe to be in your body. So I do feel like this connection, and what I teach mainly, especially the practice that I like to bring a lot, because it's fairly gentle, and all that I teach is first yoni steaming, which is like a steaming of the yoni with, like, you know, certain herbs, and there's certain instructions. Of course, if you so choose to do that, definitely watch the instructions and all of that. But basically, you know, that already starts to soften the connective tissue, and it can become the first step of you connecting to this, you know, to a sacred connection to your woman this in this way. Because as you say, like at first it's like, okay, like if I'm in a trigger state, how can I just like, okay, come into pleasure without making it a means to an end? Because that's what it ends up happening. It's like, okay, orgasm, with partner or with ourselves, okay, we're here, we're gonna have an orgasm, and that's it. And that's like this patriarchal way still of, like, you know, outcome orientation, instead of like allowing for ourselves to be, to receive. And I feel like this, the connection of feeling safe, it's like your nervous system feels safe to receive the fullness of life through pleasure, through your food, receiving absorption of nutrients, right? It's coming back to this receptivity of, I'm safe, therefore I'm ready to take in because I deserve it, because I love myself. I'm ready to take in my own nutrients, my own pleasure, which is also energetic nutrients, because you can redirect your pleasure to any of your organs and use this energy to heal you, right? And then, you know, it comes back to being in conversation with your own love and your own safety. And my invitation would be, you know, and I have courses on this, and this pathway that I create is specific because I feel like there is a process that we go through, especially as women with wombs, that we go through this, you know, at first grieving process of all the times that we said yes when we wanted to say no, and all the times we dishonor ourselves, and that's very sad. And you know, all the times we did things that we didn't want to do, voluntarily or involuntarily, right? And there's so much trauma that comes with that. And it's really important to come back to the safety of, like, whatever happened, we are not taught any of these in schools. This should have been taught, all the womb seasons, all the hormones. Nothing is the okay. What can we do from here now on? Can I forgive myself? Can I cut sexual cords with past partners? Can I, you know, start a connection with myself and my sexuality in a sacred way, in a way that honors myself and it makes me feel really good? And then, you know, can I have a beautiful nutrition, right? I'm sure this is something that you work a lot on. And like, how can I find something that it is balanced so that I can nourish myself because I love myself, right? So I feel like it's all stemming from that essence of connecting back to, I want to be in my body, I love my body, and I'm going to treat it as a temple for the goddess to be expressed in business,
Yeah.
in love, in all life.
Yes, yes. Okay, so actually, before we get into that, I have a couple questions that I ask every goddess on my goddess lives. And I really want to know when you feel most in your power. Like what inspires you most and when you feel most in your goddess power.
Okay, so what the first thing that came to me, it's when I'm teaching. This is when I feel most in my power, when I'm in the embodiment of my dharma, just like right now, right? Like when I'm opening my channel to pour through whatever wants to come through. This is when I feel like I dissolve my ego side and allow for my avatar to be expressed, to express whatever it wants. And this is when I find the goddess that is moving through me. And you know how I feel that the power is strong is because right now, for instance, I'm speaking, but I'm speaking from this anchored space of my womb. So when I'm speaking now, I'm speaking from being sitting at that throne, which is the cervix. And how I'm, you know, whenever I'm teaching, I feel that I am in that seat of like, okay, Anna is here. Yeah, I love you, human Anna. But now let's just put yourself out of the picture, and we love you still. But can you just, you know, open up to see what is it? How can you be of service, right? And it all comes back to power is met when I'm opening to the life force. So
I love
yeah.
that. Oh, and what's a message that, so what I do with these is that I post them and then I take your power and your message and I make goddess prompts out of them. So is there a message that you would just like really want to share with everyone? That's something you want everybody to feel from you.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's just take a moment, if you like, with me as well, just for this message. If you like, and all of you watching, we love you. If you like to also take a moment to sit still, close your eyes, and bring one hand on top of the heart, one hand on top of the womb. Taking a deep inhale through the nose. Hold the breath. Focus on your heartbeat, and exhale through the mouth. Inhale into the heart again, feeling the warmth of the sun in the chest. Holding the breath, bringing your awareness inwards, and exhale. Now inhale once again into the heart. And then send this energy from the front of the heart to the front of the womb, like a waterfall of golden energy down into the womb space. And really feel into the pelvic floor muscles, into the womb, taking a moment to relax. And if this is the first time you're connecting to your womb today, just, you know, say hi and really start to feel what season are you currently in. What is your womb asking for you? Invitation for you to start to breathe into your left ovary. This is the feminine side. This is the moon. You can imagine the moon as your left ovary. This is the meridian of the feminine. So taking a moment to feel how it feels in your left ovary, taking a deep breath, and exhale. Now going into the right ovary, this is the yang energy, the solar energy meridian. You can imagine that your right ovary is like the sun, the yang energy. And just taking a moment to really witness and feel that yang masculine energy. And now inhale, exhale from both. And now as you're inhaling, they're expanding their light and they're meeting, the circles are meeting in the center of your womb. This is your portal, this is the black hole of creation. And this is a space where your cervix is as well. And in this space is your throne. This is the cosmic womb. You can even imagine the power of galaxies moving inside of your womb space. Taking a deep inhale into the womb. And exhale. And now inhale from the back of the womb to the back of the heart, bringing that energy, that nourishment upwards into the heart. And exhale from the front of the heart to the front of the womb. Again, inhale from the back of the womb to the back of the heart. And exhale from the front of the heart to the front of the womb. And now inhale from the back of the womb all the way to your third eye, all the way up, up, up. Holding the breath in your third eye. And exhale. taking a moment to feel into your third eye like a lotus flower that is opening up, connecting you to cosmic consciousness, connecting you to the power of the stars. Inhale and exhale. And now start to slowly open up the eyes again. Come into the room.
Woo!
And this is really the message. It's like coming back to the body. The body has the teachings. Let me know how it felt. Because this is like, wow, it's like, okay, we have the tools, and the tools are here. And sometimes you may not even have like the time or resources to join the courses. And if that's you, please do not feel that you have to postpone this journey. And I feel like that's so important, because you have the keys to initiate yourself into these mysteries, to come back into self-love, into feeling into the womb. What is the womb feeling? What emotions are there, right? We feel that we are so disconnected sometimes from what is our womb feeling, and the grieving process, right? And then as we connect into our womb, as we connect into this power, we're gonna start to feel a deeper sense of greatness, of power that comes from this power that exists within us. And that's my message, really, to start prioritizing this connection.
So beautiful. Thank you. I love that. Yeah, you can always come back and watch that. And I'm sure you have, tell us how to connect with you, because I'm sure you have all kinds, I know you have all kinds of things coming up. You have a new, like a new master class or a womb healing. Tell us what's going on.
Oh my God, thank you. Yeah, so I'm currently in the launch of my signature course. This is a womb awakening course. It's called Mystic Priestess Awakening. So it's the awakening of your inner priestess, which means the woman that is the bridge between worlds. And this is like a 3-month journey, which is like a transformation, a reconnection to your sacred feminine essence. What we do is, like, the first month is all about menstruation, understanding how to fluctuate with your seasons, understanding the hormones and all of that, right? And then once we are anchored in that, then we tap into emotions, feeling safe to experience our emotions, because it is in feeling them that we can actually also feel pleasure. But if we don't feel pain, if we feel scared to feel pain, we then cannot access the pleasure, because they are in the same frequency. So we go on this journey also alchemizing emotions, and then tapping into pleasure in a sacred way, and tapping into the womb as the portal, and using the yoni egg as this magical tool for reconnecting to your essence and to your radiance. And then I teach a lot also on sacred sexuality, and how to bring this sacred love making into your partnership with a partner. And this is my 3-month journey, and this is starting in 2 weeks. And as a celebration pre-party, I'm hosting an amazing womb healing virtual retreat next week. And I'm like, this is like, I wish I had this when I was starting this journey. And it's called the INITIATRESS, meaning that you get to initiate yourself into the mysteries of the womb. It's for free also, because I wanted to make it, for anyone that can join, for them to join, to understand what it takes to connect to the womb. And then this is gonna be a paid program afterwards. So I'm planning to bring a lot of like magic, and this is gonna be, a retreat to connect also with other women in sisterhood that are through the same journey. And we're gonna do cutting cords with sexual partners. I feel like that's a deep reason why we may feel stuck in our womb space, because the energy is not flowing, because we still have sexual cords with past partners and past lovers and emotions of that, right? Like so much can happen. And I find that in order to recalibrate to your organic blueprint of the womb, you have to go through the process of self-forgiveness, which we are going to do a meditation on that. We're also going to do an embodiment, sensual embodiment practice. And we're going to also touch on sexuality and sacred sexuality, and how to connect with that energy for yourself. So this is going to be next week. And I'm also doing a magical giveaway. This is the first time I'm doing a giveaway like this. I'm giving away a rose quartz egg and my course, which is called Radiance, and it's the yoni egg course. So this is like a $500 giveaway, and I'm like, you know, I really want for all women to start to connect to this practice. And you know why? Because this practice was secret and it was taught in the temples in ancient China, and only the concubines, the emperor, you know, like women in the temple could have access to this tool of the jade egg. And this tool is just like, honestly, if you cannot experience orgasm, I had clients that had gone through that and to the one practice and they were able to experience orgasm. Like everyone is different, but really this practice, it just, it's the best practice ever if you want to really start to connect to your pleasure in a sacred way. And yeah, that's why I wanted to offer this gift and this giveaway and the womb healing virtual retreat. Oh my god, I know it's gonna be magical. So yeah, thank you for inviting me to share these beautiful offerings and for having me. Yeah.
Yes. Well, yeah, because I'll post this right away. So then if you, I guess they can just, I'll tag you and then they can go and see, I'm sure on your Instagram, it'll show how to enter for the retreat and for the giveaway.
Yes, exactly. So when you go into the link in my bio, you'll find like yeah, like the registration link, and then you receive an email after registering, and you have all the instructions on the giveaway and everything is in there. So yeah, and you know, you can always check. I have a lot of free classes as well on sensual embodiment, on pleasure. I have a lot of free resources for any woman that's like, okay, I want to, but I you know, that happens sometimes, right? Like we were like, yeah, I really want to do this journey, but oh, and you know why? Is because we have to dive into the darkness of emotions, and the womb is dark. And I love that you were sharing earlier that I was doing the sweat lodge, because that's the essence of the womb as well, right? It's like going into the darkness of the void and you don't know what's going to be there. And it can be scary. And then you dive into your womb, into your darkness. You allow your wild woman to be seen, the rage, the aliveness, and you move through that, and you're like, wow, you come out the other way feeling like, I was born to be myself. Why have I not accepted myself, accepted my body exactly as it is? However, I'm born, like, right? Like, it's like, how can we bring more of that purity to love ourselves? It's through this connection. So,
Well, thank you so much. I love talking to you. I would love to do it more because I feel like there's so many subjects we just like lightly touched the surface on. And I'm
oh my
definitely
God, yes.
and I'm writing this this kind of DNA, like I was talking about, this emotional energetic DNA masterclass, and I would love to, when it's time for that to come out, I would love to like reconnect with you, and maybe we can go together, go a little bit deeper and get into the biology and all of that together. I think that would be super fun. So
You know, it's already a yes. And you know, this December I'm launching my podcast, Cosmic Wombs, and please, I would love to have you, because it would be like, it's gonna be a cosmic conversation. I wanted to get really geeky, metaphysical, cosmic DNA activation. I want to bring a lot of that, and also the body. And I feel like it would be so amazing to collaborate, and let us know if you're resonating with all of these. You know, also feel free to reach out, right, to any of us, you know, to say hi and say what landed and say what's your thoughts on all of this, because you know, we love connection, we love spreading the word in sisterhood. So
yes, I'm gonna post it. Please, please comment. And there was so many comments as you were talking about, oh, I love this, I love this, I love this. So I was so beautiful. And I can't wait to talk to you again soon. And you're such a light. And I also want to come back and do something with you and talk about all of the Mayan, like the Mayan calendar. Like I need to know more about that. So
oh my God, yes. And you know, to wrap it up, I feel like, and the connection between everything is that everything is interconnected, right? And it's like, you know, the Mayan astrology for me is like signaling cascades of proteins, because it's like how everything is interconnected. But we're not gonna open that now, because it's like like I get excited. I'm like, oh my God, I know that we could just be together spending all day drinking tea and talking about this. I hope that you all had this vibe, that you were drinking tea with us and that we were having this goddess chat, because thank you for the work that you're doing. I love it. And thank you for, you know, bridging spirituality and science. This is also one of my big whys. It's like, all of this is not woo-woo stuff, it's real stuff. And when you start to connect and make, it's like, it works, it's real. It's like, okay.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, well, we probably should go or we're going to keep going on. All right, love you so much.
Thank
Mwah.
you. Bye bye. Thank you
Bye.
for having me.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.